Hey everybody, and welcome back to BK's Bullets. Today we're going to be doing an overview of this Walking Dead Compendium 4. Hey everybody, and welcome back to BK's Bullets. My name is Brent Casina, and I'm your host as always. We're going to do an overview of this Walking Dead Compendium 4. Well, why are we doing number 4, Brent, when you haven't done number 1, 2, or 3? Well, I have number 1, I have number 2, and now I have number 4. Do I have number 3? No, I don't. Can I tell you why? Yes, I can. If you have read Compendium 1 or 2, or if you have Compendium 1 or 2 and you haven't yet picked up Compendium 4 or 3, maybe, I don't know, go run out to your nearest Barnes & Noble and pick up this $65, $60 compendium. $60 for just $10. You can order it online. You can check the stock in the Barnes & Noble nearest you. I did that. And make sure you do that online first, because I went to my nearest Barnes & Noble and turns out they didn't have any Compendium 4s. And then I went to a different one today after I had checked online and said, yes, they have them. And I picked this up for just $10. That is a steal, folks. That is a steal. I had basically Volume 1 and Volume 2 and was thinking about eventually getting Volume 3, because what I have done with Walking Dead is I read Compendium 1 when it came out and then loved it. I read Compendium 2. I waited for the next one, read it, loved it. I loved it so much, I jumped onto the digital issues, and I have basically every issue after whenever this ends through the end of the series. So I have this in digital, but I wanted to complete my compendium set, and now I'm one book away. The downside to this is that the cover is different, right? So the compendium covers, if you look at the regular editions of 1, 2, 3, if it was here, you know, in the gap, and 4, they all kind of go together in this theme of, you know, the living and the dead, how they would look if they were alive in the issues and what they would look like if they're dead. Same thing with 3. Compendium 4 does have a special cover, and I think that is fine for $10. I'm not going to complain, because on the bookshelf they're going to look at the spines anyway. Now, this is a big compendium. This is like almost 50 issues. This is number 145 through 193 of the series. So this is all the way to the end. And I'll tell you, number 193 was like 80 pages all by itself. It was massive. One thing also you get with this $10 compendium, as if you go right now when this video is released, go check it out, you get this big poster basically of the front cover here. You know, it kind of cuts off right by, this is actually not Glenn but Carl, missing the eye here, but you can tell, yeah. So you kind of get it from here over. You'll learn who this guy is. You'll learn who Princess is. I think this is supposed to be Michonne. This is Carl. This is, I think, Maggie, right? I forget who these other characters are. There's Dwight in the back here. He becomes a main character in Walking Dead. This beautiful poster, which I have little kids, so I'm not going to display this, but it is cool that you get like a fold-out poster with this compendium. $10, folks, $10. Can you complain for $10? I don't think you have much room to complain. So, these compendiums are laid out as if you're reading the trade paperbacks. Like, I feel like none of the trade paperbacks have the covers in them. I do have the first trade paperback. This is how I originally read Walking Dead, and they're all there. I think there's like 22 of these little buddies. And they're all a little expensive, you know, $10, $12, $15 as they went up in price. And the cool part about these is that, like, the zombie covers do run together, these front zombies here. But even these don't have the first, you know, the cover to every issue. They just all run together. So they did the same thing in the compendiums. There's no covers. Basically, you get, you know, what chapter it is. So here's the artist, Robert Kirkman. The writer, creator of this entire series, Charlie Adlard, penciler, inker for this one. Eventually, he had Stefano Gudiano jump in and do a whole lot of inks on a lot of these. So when they say chapters, they're really meaning a chapter of a story arc. So a chapter is basically like, when you read the chapters of this is 5 or 6 issues, what would have been collected in a trade paperback. So in Compendium 1, it's called Chapter 1, Days Gone By. And then Chapter 2 is whatever Volume 2 is called. So same thing here when you read it, and it says, Chapter 25, No Turning Back. So basically everything you read until you get to wherever it says Chapter 26 is, 5 or 6 issues. And the cool part about this, reading it in this format, if I do recall reading Compendium 1 and 2, is that you get a full story, and you will, I'm a fast reader, so I breezed through most of these when I was reading it because, they're just, I think they're kind of fast reads here. But they are impactful. And Charlie Adlar's art, as he went on from the first time he jumped on doing Walking Dead, like, to me, Charlie Adlard is the Walking Dead artist. Say what you will about Tony Moore, he only did the first 5 or 6 issues, right? Like, everything else after this trade paperback is Charlie Adlard. So for me, the way I want to see my characters is drawn by Charlie Adlard, not Tony Moore. So if he gets some creator credit down the line of Walking Dead, I think he does on the TV show and stuff, all the better for him. Fantastic. So this is a big book, right? This is like over 1,000 pages or something. I don't know how many pages there are exactly, but it's massive. So it does kind of lay over in chunks. You can kind of feel the little like big snippets here. Here's Negan fighting Alpha. The Whisperer War, I think, is here in this storyline. Here's a bunch of zombies. But Walking Dead, this is the original way it was presented as a black and white comic book. So they're doing like recolors now in single issue formats, and Kirkman's come out and basically said like they don't really plan on collecting those, at least as of right now. The only way to get those color issues is to get them either digitally or in single issues. They don't plan on doing like Bone came out in black and white and then had a color version come out very quickly. Now all you can find is the color version. They don't really plan on doing that here. And I think that's a little bit cool because this does have a lot. By the time they got this far in the story, their gray tones, I think Cliff Rathburn is the guy who's doing the gray tones here, is doing these phenomenal gray tones, like just coloring everything just a little bit differently, some shading just to kind of give it some depth. So it is kind of a colored book with these gray tones, but man, Cliff, you can tell there's different tones here on this light. So Cliff Rathburn's doing a phenomenal job on just keeping it interesting to look at and read as a black and white comic book. So I think by this part of the story, we're in the Commonwealth because you got these stormtrooper guys fighting them. I think this is where the show is right now, is in this area. So you're pretty much at the end of the show. I think they've announced the final season. You got Dwight here, and gosh, I forget this character's name. But Rick's still here. Unlike the show, Rick lasts a whole lot longer. That is for sure. There's no actor getting tired of playing a character or anything like that. Rick is here all the way throughout. Michonne is here all the way throughout. I mean, I guess that's character spoilers per se. Carl is here all the way throughout. He is basically the guy who wraps up the entire story. Not to give it away, but the last issue is a bit of a time jump. There's Carl here as an adult. So you kind of like, boy oh boy, the last couple of issues in this book, I don't really want to turn past here, were like big time issues. Like, wow, big moments. And that's what Walking Dead is famous for, is delivering big moments. Carl losing an eye, big moment. Glenn, what happened to Glenn? Big moment. Negan, full of big moments. The governor, big moments. Every character death is a big moment. And boy, oh boy, I really do love this story. Negan is still here, So I feel like these do hold up pretty good. Like when you read them on a big tabletop, here's a double page spread. Thank God I turned to this while I was talking about it. Like, there's not a lot of them, and when they are doing it, you're getting some sort of image where they've thought about it. I feel like you're not missing a whole bunch of little faces or something. It's either a close-up or really wide shot to really emphasize the moment and give you that impact. So I think that is really, really cool. So how do these hold up? Well, I've only read Compendium 2, I think, once, and I've read Compendium 1 twice. So you can kind of see the spine here kind of curve around. So after a few readings, they'll probably look like this. But it still holds up. I mean, I'm not complaining. I wonder how the Spawn ones will show up. Haven't gotten the Spawn compendiums because I have the older collections from when I was in college through volume 6 when they were doing like 20-issue chunks. But you know, they don't have the covers, and I think the Spawn books, because the covers are so phenomenal, they do need the covers. Whereas Walking Dead, since they've always been collected kind of without the covers in these little trade paperbacks and stuff like that, like, do you need the covers? I don't know. And I never, since I read it basically as this one and then jumped into Compendium 1 over here, I never really missed the covers, so to speak. So does it need covers? I don't know. I don't think so. But man, you can just tell, like, look at how thick Compendium 4 is to Compendium 2, and I think that's probably because this last issue is like triple sized, quadruple sized. It's like 80 pages compared to some other ones. So there you have it. Walking Dead Compendium 4, $10. Barnes & Noble. Make sure you have this cover, because this is the version that's $10. Get on their website, find your local Barnes & Noble, pick it up for $10 if you haven't picked it up already. Quite a steal for quite a book. That is for sure. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think of The Walking Dead down below in the comments. And as always, we will see you guys next time here on BK's Bullets in the Funny Pages.